Amiga present. A Playguide video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi there, once again, welcome to another Lemon Amiga Playguide and Review. This time it's Pinball Mania, developed by Spidersoft and published by 21st Century Entertainment, otherwise known as Hewson. And this was released in 1995. Checking out the main screen of this game, we have 4 tables on offer: Tarantula, Jailbreak, Kickoff and Jackpot. And by pressing those F keys, just like the other 21st Century games, we can check those tables out. Begins with a great theme, and the theme music on offer is sometimes the best part of this experience, and this game does veer some way off the Pinball Dreams and Pinball Fantasies cascade of wonderful games that we got on the Amiga, and we've seen Pinball Illusions and Slam Tilt as well, and so you could say that this was the 4th in the line of those after Pinball Illusions. Let's press F1, let's check out the first table. This is Tarantula. And you can see this table is pretty basic. There are a number of things to hit and a number of loops as well. Let's try it out, and unlike some pinball games, if we decide to mess it up right from the start, then it will allow us to shoot again, and that's a great feature. We'll probably need to do that many times in this review, but we can also escape and then press F1 again, and that will restart our play from the go again. Pinball Mania, the objective, of course, is to get those traps and to build up our score, and I think if you hit that in the top left-hand corner, then we will get a fan bonus, and that will increase our venom. But you can also highlight the words terror as well, and that might start a bonus game, and layer as well, which I think gives us at least some more score. There's also an accumulator on the right hand side that you see that we've been already. That's a random element that can give us any amount of bonus balls or bonus score. Just like most pinball games, it's the side ramps that we really need to be aware of, and in this game I think there is a way to block those and get kickbacks, but I'm not quite sure. If it goes down there, there is precious little chance of rescuing the ball. Luckily, this game is fairly lenient when it comes to lost balls, and you have to get a bit of score before it counts as a lost ball. of the things that you may have noticed about this game already is the ball feels and looks like it's very heavy, and in many pinball games that is made out of aluminium, and it's maybe stainless steel in real life, but in these things it can feel pretty light. This one is the opposite. It feels quite heavy, like it's made from iron, and as an iron ball it drops pretty readily down the central hole. Luckily we do have a central pin there, it's heading there directly, but you can see even though we are whacking the ball as hard as we can, it's pretty difficult to get any bonuses being accumulated. That's a high score, that's 22 million. Let's see if we can score any more than that on this playthrough. Music on this table is pretty good. It's not the best on the entire game, but it's quite good and it's creepy enough, although it's not really loud and important music to take you away from the action. The sound effects seem rather sparse, and there are some great sound effects when we do get those mega bonuses, but usually not. The bumpers are very weak in the game, and if you hit a bumper it will not ricochet around. In fact, you'll be lucky if it does anything. You can see it rebounded off that bumper, went straight down the hole, and that's something that you'll have to be prepared for when you're trying to learn this game. Amazingly, we did not beat our previous score, so let's move on to the main menu again and let's choose the next table, and this one is called Jailbreak. And so I think we saw Jailbreak in Slam Tilt, so maybe that was an upgrade of this table, and so let's see if this one is any more playable. See, from the layout there is slightly more going on and slightly more targets to hit, but you can see most of those are on the top half of the table. Because of the weight of the ball, the gameplay is rather difficult, and just like the other pinball games, I think you can press the paddle buttons to change the order of the lights, and it does give us double paddles on the middle of the screen so that we can aim for all those mega big bonuses. Unfortunately, because that is blocked off by a huge portion of the elements of the table, it means once you've dropped to the lower side of the table, it's more difficult to get back to the top. My preferred method is to hit those bumpers and those paddles wildly, and that means that we can have a fighting chance, but that usually doesn't use that much of a weight on the ball. You have to hit those very hard as they land back on the table from a huge drop to get them to move anywhere. to our final ball, and as usual that is dropped straight down the hole, which gives us a new high score. And that's 3.3 million, so slightly better than we did on Tarantula. Let's move on to a football themed table, where we'll find some relative football theme music. This one we have to score against our opponents by hitting those traps that you can see, and those look like elements on a trumpet, and those things can make a whistle when you hit them if you manage to hit anything. For my money, these tables weren't really play tested enough, and if they were, all they had to do was make the ball a bit lighter for this to be a more enjoyable game. As there is not much on offer in the game, it's pretty difficult to rate it considering what they could have done, and there aren't any amazing spinners or any amazing elements in the game that we've already seen on other pinball games. That's our final ball of the soccer table. Let's see if we make anything of it, and of course, no, we don't. And so we made a very lowly score on that particular table. Let's move on to the final table on these three discs. This is Jackpot. On this table we have a number of ramps again, and we can also toggle, of course, these lights at the top. They will give us a score multiplier, and higher or lower, left or right, well, you can see the high-low feature reveals a queen, which is unfortunately not the right choice. So this game has got some gambling in it, but unfortunately for us it's a gamble that if you pay for this game, or if you bought it on eBay, it's surely a gamble whether you'll enjoy it or not. The music on this level is the horrendous formula jazz that you probably would find in a real casino, and that's actually one of the plus points of this table, how horrendous the jazz music is, and so you can see that this is a difficult table to get to know. That was another 3 million score. Let's try this again. You may be surprised to learn that this particular game was bundled with some A1200s from SCOM. This is an AGA game, even though it doesn't really make use of that AGA chipset, not like the Slam Tilt game that we've seen already. Slam Tilt was of course released in 1996, and that got very favourable ratings according to the magazines. This being a 1995 game had already missed the boat. Moving on to the scores, the lowest score that I could find came from the ever-reliable Amiga Power, who awarded this game 11%. The next highest score went to Amiga Magazine, who awarded this 50%. The Lemon Amiga score is 54%. Amiga Computing gave this 60. Amiga User International gave it 69. Steel Amiga gave it 75. And Amiga Format gave this 76%. Lastly, Amiga Joker. Amiga Joker gave this humorous Amiga Joker score of 86%, saying the game was impeccable. But Amiga Power claimed that this was not a fraction of the Pinball Dreams or Pinball Fancies games, and that gives this game the average score of 6 out of 10. Thank you for viewing this play guide and review, and I'll see you again in another one sometime soon. Thank you.